Brothers and sisters of Burkina Faso, proud citizens of Niger and Mali, and to all the sons and daughters of Africa watching across the continent and beyond today, I address you not as the president of a single nation, but as a humble soldier in the army of African unity. That path is unity, that path is sovereignty, that path is Africa, by Africans for Africans. We stand today at the crossroads of history, and I tell you with conviction in my voice and fire in my heart, we have chosen our path. Today, together with my honorable brothers, President Assimi Gota of Mali and President Abdurrahman Tiani of Niger, we have launched the one passport for the Sahel, a single identity for our people. No longer shall our borders divide us. No longer shall colonial lines dictate our movement. No longer shall a brother from Ouagadougou need permission to embrace his sister in Bamako or Niamey. This passport marks the beginning of a future where we define our destiny, not the IMF, not the European Union, not AU summits that speak much, but act little. And this passport is our signature on the first page of a new chapter. It is the people who now lead. We are one. This passport is not paper. It is power, the power to move freely, the power to trade freely, the power to build, to educate, to defend, and to dream together. It is about tearing down the walls that have kept us apart. For too long, we will trade, we will talk, but on equal footing. We will cooperate, but not under threats. We will be friends, but never slaves. Walls built by those who exploited our divisions. Walls built by those who feared what would happen if Africans stood together. Well, let them fear no more because we are rising. My people, this is not just about travel. I say to the West, to those who watch with trembling hands and veiled warnings, we are not your enemies, but we are no longer your subjects. Let it be known, Africa is awakening, not with violence, but with vision, not with dependence, but with dignity. And Zinder, to every mother raising the next generation, I say this, your children will inherit a continent that is free. To every farmer in the Sahel, to every student in the schools of Dori, Timbuktu, let the world know Africa is not fragmented. Africa is not weak. We are united. One passport, one people, one purpose. Long live Burkina Faso, long live Mali, long live Niger, and long live the unity of free Africa.
Welcome to African Addict, your trusted source for the latest news stories and developments from across the African continent. From breaking headlines to inspiring achievements, political updates to cultural moments, we bring you the facts, the voices, and the impact that shape Africa today. Stay informed, stay connected, and join the conversation. This is African Addict, where Africa comes first. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for daily updates. Disclaimer: the content shared on African Addict is for informational and educational purposes only. While we strive for accuracy and fairness in our news reporting, we do not make any warranties about the completeness, reliability, or accuracy of the information presented. Opinions expressed in our videos do not necessarily reflect the views of the channel. Viewers are encouraged to verify details independently and form their own conclusions.
Good evening, Africa and the world. Tonight, we bring you a truly historic development, a bold, groundbreaking move that is shaking the foundations of global geopolitics. In a declaration that sent ripples through the halls of Western institutions, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali have jointly announced the launch of a single, unified passport for their citizens. The initiative, which has been quietly under development for months, was unveiled in full military ceremony, attended by thousands of citizens and international observers. A symbol of sovereignty, of solidarity, and of a new Pan-African dawn. It marks the beginning of a deeper integration effort, an effort to build a shared destiny rooted in African values, security, and mutual development. The West is watching, and they are not pleased. But for Africans, this is a moment of liberation. This isn't just a passport. This is a declaration, a statement that the time of division is over, that artificial borders carved by colonial rulers will no longer dictate the fate of proud, sovereign nations. This is the spirit of Thomas Sankara, of Kwame Nkrumah, of Patrice Lumumba, rising once again. In a joint press conference held in Ouagadougou, the capitals of the revolutionary trio, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, announced the finalization and rollout of their unified passport system. But the people of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger know exactly what that means. When the West says stability, they often mean control. Western think tanks and media outlets have scrambled to understand the implications. Could this spark a domino effect? Could this one passport become the seed for a broader Pan-African unity? One passport, one people, one future. The newly launched passport will allow free movement between the three nations without visas, customs barriers, or bureaucratic delays. Because what we are witnessing is not just political rhetoric. It is strategic realignment. It is economic reform. It is cultural renaissance. As Captain Ibrahim Traoré stated during the announcement, it will carry the legacy of a generation that said enough to dependency and manipulation. This passport does not only open borders, it opens the minds and hearts of our people. It is a passport to African dignity, a passport to peace, a passport to progress. This new form of identification will carry more than just personal information. It will carry history. It will carry courage. The reaction from the West. For decades, African nations have been at the mercy of visa restrictions imposed by Europe and America. Talented students, scientists, and entrepreneurs have been humiliated at embassies. With this initiative, the Sahel Trio is saying, we will no longer beg to move across our own land. As expected, the West is panicked. European Union officials, who once dismissed the growing alliance between these Sahel nations as a temporary rebellion, now see the writing on the wall. We are not your subjects. We are nations. We are proud. We are free. The idea that Africa could chart its own path, outside the framework of Western oversight, is no longer just rhetoric, it is policy. Diplomats from France and other former colonial powers expressed concern over the initiative, citing potential challenges to regional stability. The launch of this passport is a logical next step, creating an alliance rooted in Pan-Africanism, not neo-colonial appeasement. While the West reacts with suspicion, the Global South is extending a hand of partnership. This bold step towards integration is a direct challenge to the neo-colonial structures that have shackled the continent for decades. Markets were alive with dancing and drumming. Students painted murals of unity. Farmers waved flags as they plowed fields, shouting chants of freedom. If the answer is yes, and it certainly appears so, then the West has reason to worry. The power of unity. In practical terms, this unified passport will facilitate the free movement of labor and trade between the three nations, eliminate costly visa regimes and cross-border taxes that have hindered regional growth, enable the development of joint security operations against terrorism, foster educational exchange, and interregional investment in Africa that speaks in one voice, moves with one step, and dreams with one heart. Guinea, Togo, and even parts of East Africa are reportedly watching closely. The West may panic, but Africa will rise. More than that, it creates a shared identity, a sense of collective belonging beyond artificial boundaries. Stay with us as we continue to follow this revolutionary journey. The winds of change are blowing, and Africa is finally writing its own story, with its own pen, on its own terms. It could reshape trade, security, education, and infrastructure. It could finally complete the dream of Kwame Nkrumah, a United States of Africa. Traoré, Goïta, and Tiani, leaders who have faced sanctions, threats, and military pressure, stood tall and unshaken as they unveiled the new passports to thunderous applause. The old rules no longer apply. Africa is no longer content with being the supplier of raw materials and the recipient of lectures. Africa is choosing self-determination, choosing independence, choosing unity. Reclaiming sovereignty, this passport represents more than just travel documents. It is a reclamation of sovereignty. And make no mistake, the world is watching. India, Russia, China, and Brazil have expressed interest in recognizing the unified passport in future trade and diplomatic arrangements. A warning to colonial powers. In Captain Traoré's speech, he did not mince words. To those who still think Africa is a chessboard, let today serve as your lesson. We are not your pawns. Powerful, defiant, unapologetically African. This initiative comes just months after the three nations exited ECOWAS, a move that stunned the region and signaled dissatisfaction with the regional bloc's perceived alignment with Western interests. The people's voice. Across Ouagadougou, Niamey, and Bamako, citizens celebrated the news with festivals, parades, and spontaneous displays of patriotism. In interviews, residents expressed hope. Finally, we are being led by people who love their country more than foreign approval. This passport makes me feel like I belong to something bigger, a family, not just a country. Now, when I travel to Niger or Mali, I travel as a brother, not as a foreigner. It's not just symbolic, it's emotional. It's psychological. It's transformative. What comes next? Already, there are rumors that other African nations are in quiet talks to join the passport initiative. And why wouldn't they? A unified Africa, starting with strong regional blocs, could redefine global power structures. The West, meanwhile, must come to terms with a hard truth. Conclusion: a new African sunrise. This new passport is more than a travel document. It is the sunrise of a new Africa. An Africa that is tired of waiting. An Africa that is leading. Tonight, the world has changed. Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali have shown us what is possible when courage meets vision. Thank you for watching. Good night, and long live the spirit of African unity.
Thank you for watching African Addict, your home for reliable African news and stories that matter. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest from across the continent. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a headline. Until next time, stay informed, stay inspired. This is African Addict, bringing Africa closer to you.